Hi there, I'm Ryan Chandler. Here's your talking points for this week. Back to school. Most kids returned to class this week, but the summer vacation brought few solutions to the policy problems facing Texas schools. From the statewide teacher shortage to student safety, we'll sit down with the superintendent of Lubbock ISD. And a new fix for our roads. Lubbock is bringing a $200 million bond to the ballot this November. We'll get the word on the street from City Councilman Steve Massingale.
From the studios of KAMC Television in Lubbock, your local election headquarters. This is Talking Points.
Happy Sunday and thanks for joining us. Well, millions of Texas kids are going back to school soon, but state leaders still have a lot of homework to do on the issues that await them in the classroom. Whether it's lagging pay, new state requirements, student discipline, or school safety, districts all across Texas are struggling to find enough teachers. Lubbock ISD still has dozens of unfilled positions, and a survey by the Texas State Teachers Association shows a record 70% of Texas teachers are seriously considering leaving the profession. 2.5 months after the tragedy in Uvalde exposed shortcomings in school safety, some districts have also been rushing to implement new safety procedures in lieu of any changes to statewide policy. Combine just those two pressure points with the continued learning loss from COVID-19, and teachers deserve a whole lot more than an apple on the first day this year. And joining us now to discuss these topics and more is the superintendent of Lubbock ISD, Dr. Kathy Rolo. Dr. Rolo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
We have just about 3 days left until the start of a new school year.
Yes.
Are you nervous? Are you excited? What's your mood going into yet another year?
Extremely excited about this school year. There's been an energy as we have brought teachers back in to prepare for the children to arrive, and our administrators. There's just a lot of momentum and excitement in the air, and we are truly looking forward to greeting our children on August the 17th.
How do you think this year is going to define itself compared to years past? What's going to be different? What are some things that you're especially looking forward to in the next few months?
Well, one of the things we are most excited about is, in spite of what we've dealt with over the last 2 years, being far from normal, our students did really, really well, and our teachers poured themselves into teaching and learning with our students. And so we have a lot of celebrations that we'll be making public in the near future as soon as the data is released. And we are going to just continue to build on that momentum and celebrate the successes that we've had in spite of what we've been dealing with. But yeah, we're excited about that and looking forward to continuing that progress and doing great things for our children.
It seems every year has its own share of, yes, excitements, but also challenges.
Yes.
The past 2 years have been COVID, of course, and this year is bringing some unique challenges as well. The first one I want to ask you about is this teacher shortage that is affecting not just us, but statewide. It seems that so many districts are rushing to hire teachers just a few weeks before the school year. How has that issue impacted Lubbock ISD so far?
Well, it's a real issue, and it's one that we've actually been anticipating for a while now. What we're seeing in Lubbock ISD is not a mass exodus from the profession that you might hear about in nationwide news. We really have a fairly normal attrition rate with people resigning and retiring for various reasons. But what we do see is that there are fewer people going into the profession. So we've had to be very creative with some grow your own programs and some different partnerships to really help try to build that pipeline and really make education a noble profession that people want to go into.
What do you think it is about this year in particular that is leading fewer people to seek out the profession? Can you pinpoint specific causes that may explain that?
Well, when we ask why do you believe teachers are not going into the profession, pay is always one of the things that rises to the top. And of course, we know we would love to pay our teachers more than we do because we believe that they are the heart of what we do. And with our current funding structures, we can only do what we can do. But our teachers are truly valuable. And so anything we can do to try to help with that pay is important. One of the things we've done is use some of our COVID relief funds for some longevity bonuses and things to try to help get us over this hump. Another factor that I think was exacerbated perhaps during the pandemic is working from home and having more flexibility in the way you work has become more of a norm. And teaching is one of those professions where, at least the way we are structured right now, students need a teacher in front of them, and it's a 5-day-a-week job from in the morning till you go home in the late afternoon. And so there's not a whole lot of flexibility in that schedule, and I think that's not as attractive to possibly some of our younger generations. And then teachers have been put on a pedestal at times, and then at times they've been villainized, unfortunately. And so we just have to continue to tell our own story and talk about what a great, rewarding profession this is, because you truly impact lives for generations to come.
We can't go without talking about the issue on the back of every parent's mind,
Yes.
which is, are my students going to be safe at school? We went into this summer with the tragedy in Uvalde, and then it seems like you blink and students are already going back to
Yes.
class, and it doesn't seem like anything really has been done to change how safe students will be today versus 3 months ago. What do you say to parents to make them feel safe to send their kids to a Lubbock ISD school?
So I know Uvalde is absolutely fresh on everyone's minds, and our hearts and prayers go out to the community completely. Safety and security has been at the top of our priority list for the last 4 years in Lubbock ISD. It started with us going forward in 2018 with a bond, and our community supported that overwhelmingly. And the impetus behind that bond was that we needed to do something with our older buildings to make them more safe. And so the majority of that work has been completed already. And so we have single point entrances. As quickly as we can, we're getting secure vestibule entrances created on every single campus. We have completely updated all of our PA systems so that communication is much smoother and quicker between both the office and the classrooms and vice versa, so it's two-way communication. We hired a director of safety and security 3.5 years ago, and we put protocols into place around our standard response protocol. All of our teachers and students wear this on their badge every day that has the protocols, and also who to call if there is a situation. We put in anonymous reporting systems so that if people see something, there's a way to say something quickly, and that has been extremely beneficial. We've put in a very robust threat assessment process where we're monitoring any concerns very quickly and taking action quickly. So while you may not have seen things have changed in 3 months because we've been in a summer break, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes as we have read through the investigative report on Uvalde, looked at our own systems and structures that we have in place. The only thing, according to the governor's plan that he has released, that we had not done is already pre-scheduled all of our drills for the year. And so we're in the process of doing that right now, and we'll have that done before school starts. We have also checked all of our exterior doors to ensure that they're working properly. And then we have a monitoring place and plan where we will continue to do that. Lubbock ISD has kept our doors locked during the day, with visitors being required to check in through a buzz-in system. We've been doing that for the last 4 years. For the last 4 years, we've also required our classroom teachers to keep their classroom doors locked while the students are in the classrooms for instruction. That was something that we put into place. We had some grumbling because it's not always convenient, but after Uvalde, I had multiple emails saying thank you for doing that, because there has not, to our knowledge, been a school shooting inside of a locked classroom door. And so that is just a mitigation that we can put into place to help create that extra layer of security for our students and our staff.
So it sounds like a lot of this is not just in response to Uvalde, but it has been an ongoing process for years. Well, I'm sure parents will be good to hear that.
And then training.
We'll be happy to hear that.
And what parents may not see is that our campus staff have been going through, they went through an online training during the summer on their own that is required, and then they are doing campus training, campus-specific training right now. And so training is something that is an ongoing process. That's not necessarily in response to Uvalde, but it's something that we do regularly anyway. We can put a lens of Uvalde on top of it to explain the why behind some of the things that we require and do. and that really helps make that even more meaningful for people. But that is something that is very important to us as a district and will continue to be.
I know it is. Dr. Rolo, thank you so much for coming on to talk with us. I know I always wish we had more time to talk about these very important and complicated issues, but let's keep the conversation going throughout the school year, and we wish you the best of luck on Wednesday.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And coming up next, the future of city streets. We'll talk with District 4 Councilman Steve Massengale about the road ahead to a new bond proposition.